This video is going to be my reaction to Colorado's 31-26 win over North Dakota State week 1 of the college football season home opener for Deion Sanders' team in 2024. They certainly made a ton of big plays on offense to overcome what I thought was a valiant effort by a really tough North Dakota State team that in some ways was outgunned or outmatched at times. In particular, I have to give credit to the quarterback. I think he's a fifth-year senior for North Dakota State, Cam Miller. More on him later and how he played, because the story obviously is Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I mean, everyone knew that they were going to have big seasons and probably have a lot of success against North Dakota State. But look, Travis Hunter played every snap. It's kind of unbelievable. You hear about it. People talk about it all in the offseason last year. But it's one thing to hear about it and read about it. But when you see it, I wasn't there live, obviously, but to watch every snap and him to be on the field, tackles, coverage, at receiver, blocking occasionally at times. Even though North Dakota State was in the huddle and Colorado obviously was not at times, so the clock was running when North Dakota State has the football, but Hunter's competing on every snap, and there's a high expectation level. He's playing on the right side as a receiver and on the left side as a DB, so he's always on the same side, so it's not like he's on the sideline side and doesn't have to go to the other side of the field at times. I thought he played amazing, and really, I mean, everyone's going to have the same thing to say. 7 catches. I believe he had 9 targets, 132 yards, 3 TDs. Each of the touchdowns was along the right side, obviously, so you kind of know where to find him. Maybe I'll have a few things to say about that later, but I thought it was an amazing performance. From a strength standpoint, ball skills, core strength for him. His catch over the middle will go underrated, but I thought the ball's thrown a little bit behind him. It's a third down, and he makes the catch to keep the drive going. The touchdowns up the right sideline, particularly the 2 in the end zone, are going to get a lot of attention. Shedeur finished, I think, 26 of 34 passing. It really could have been 29 of 34 or maybe 30 of 34. 2 incompletions on balls where his wide receivers caught it. I think it's Shepard to the left side, catches it, doesn't get a foot down out of bounds. Maybe I got the name wrong there. I know he's a transfer from Vandy. And then ridiculous catch, another one by Hunter up the right sideline, about 20 yards in length. I'm not sure of the concept. He catches it diving or jumping out of bounds. And then the situation early in the third quarter where I think one of his receivers and a North Dakota State defender maybe collided. I haven't seen the replay from a standpoint of being able to tell, but the ball ends up hitting the leg of one of the defenders on the ground, bouncing up in the air. North Dakota State defender is able to catch it in the air easily for an interception. I'll let some game stats flow through, only offense, and then team stats. Look, Sanders and Colorado's offense, at one point in the second half, they were unstoppable. Yet I know they were unable to close out the game on that last possession. Gave Miller and North Dakota State's offense the ball with less than a minute remaining. So there should have been and probably was some consternation or anxiety in the stadium or from Colorado fans. Miller walks onto the field. He just scrambled for a 20-yard touchdown on the previous possession. He walks onto the field with a minute left, less than a minute left, I think 49 seconds, something like that. Completes 2 passes. A very weird and unusual situation after the second one. I think it's a 19-yard or maybe 20-yard completion to Braylon Henderson up the right hash. Of course, it's college football, so the first down indicates a stoppage of play until the referees indicate for the clock to begin. 14 seconds left when he catches the ball, and suddenly there's 9 seconds left. It looked to me like the clock was wound on restart before the referee standing by the ball allowed North Dakota State to spike it. I thought it was a horrible job by those guys and really stole 4 or maybe 5 seconds from North Dakota State. But look, getting back to Colorado, their offense was unstoppable other than that last possession. Like I said, in the second half, I should say, the 6th, 7th, and 8th possessions. What I like to do when I do game review videos is go over possessions in detail and just talk about them. And I can't show the film, obviously. Number 1, there's no film that's out in college football. Number 2, I don't have any replay ability yet as far as YouTube, so I will probably put something on Twitter later tonight or or Friday evening, excuse me. Here is the 6th and 7th possession. It's a little tight, packed in there. But the 6th possession, of course, finishes with or culminates with the interception that I talked about. Doesn't really seem like it's Shedeur Sanders' fault to me. I haven't seen the concept over, like I said. And then the 7th possession, they zip right downfield, culminating with the 14-yard touchdown to Hunter in the back of the end zone. It's kind of like a back shoulder throw to the inside. Really unique, if you ask me. Those two obviously are connected, but they got a good receiving core there. Jimmy Horn Jr., was open often on short stuff in the flats, but really killed North Dakota State over the middle. North Dakota State played this like 4-1 in the box with an apex linebacker to the boundary. If I get some film, I maybe put it on Twitter and kind of explain what I'm talking about. But this one here shows you that they were 6th, 7th, and 8th possession. I'm not going to show the 8th possession because the play-by-play doesn't fit on the screen, because I think it ended up being 17 plays. In the early third quarter of this first possession, you got a 40-yarder to Hunter up the right sideline. It's the 4th play down from the top there. 1st and 10 from the 47. I give the formation name flex. That's a 2-by-2 formation. So when they were in 10 personnel, Colorado pretty much almost in every case, started 2-by-2. So 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Almost really reminded me of run and shoot offenses from my time. I'm old, so I can say that. But I felt that put North Dakota State in a bind because there was no trips formation created generally. Although you do see one, the third and goal, where Hunter is maybe briefly open in the middle of the end zone, I think, or on a slant, But North Dakota State did a nice job, I thought, of that one. It's the 3rd and goal from the 5, 7th play down from the top for you guys. North Dakota State showed outside leverage with the corner, and on the broadcast, I'm like, man, the slant is there. They bailed out a linebacker underneath of Hunter. I thought maybe on the slant, maybe I'm thinking of a different play. He may have been open. Actually, I think I am thinking of a different play. They showed it on the broadcast angle. It was more so in the middle of the field. But that one allowed North Dakota State to retain the 20-14 lead. They did nothing, the Bison's offense, on their ensuing possession. So Colorado got the ball right back, negative 28-yard line. Horn against that cover 2. I thought they really destroyed North Dakota State's cover 2 until North Dakota State brought in number 0 as an inside linebacker. I thought he had the athleticism to actually run in the middle of the field in their Tampa 2 and actually had a pass defense on it. Wester, I think it's LeJonte Wester, 11-yard gain on the 2nd play of that 7th possession out in the flats. They really did not do a good job of covering that at all. Talking about a 2-by-2 set flex, slot receiver motioning from right to left or left to right, basically creating a 3-by-1. It was Wester or Horn pretty much all night, and they ended up open in the flats when Sanders would keep it off of a mesh with the running back. Kind of looks like an RPO, and in some cases it may be an RPO, but it really, I thought, wrecked North Dakota's defense in the flats, culminating with that 14-yard touchdown, like I said, to give Colorado a 21-20 lead. Then on the ensuing possession for them, after a disappointing offensive series for North Dakota State, they take a 31-20 lead. It was a 17-play drive. Colorado actually used a tight end on the drive that I'm referencing, meaning it was their 8th possession. I'm not showing it on the screen because, like I said, it won't fit. All the plays go down to a second page. They actually used 11 personnel there. And then the unbelievable hands that Hunter shows. It's actually one of the pictures cycling through, so that's why I clicked back to show you. The way he caught it, like up underneath of the defender's arm, was extremely unique. Right side of the end zone, crowd went crazy. And you can understand why, because North Dakota State in the first half had really given them reason for concern. North Dakota State jumped out to leads of 3-0, 10-7, 17-14, and then 20-14, and got a stop to open the third quarter. Had the ball with a 20-14 lead. Let's say that in some other alternate universe or timeline, North Dakota State's offense is able to go down there and get a touchdown. You're talking about a 27-14 game at that point, drastically different. First half was wild to me. And I will review 2 North Dakota State possessions because I thought they ran some unique stuff. I think they were up 20-17 at the half, despite Sanders throwing for 254 on 15 overall attempts. This is ridiculous. 12 of 15 or maybe 13 of 15 in the first half. Horn over the middle 3 different times. 2 of them were floaters where when the ball was thrown on the broadcast angle, at least, I'm like, well, this looks like it could be intercepted. That ball's hanging, but no one's there. The safety split, presumably to help out on the outside, and middle of the field wide open. I do find it, from a Colorado standpoint, and if you're a Colorado fan, let me know what you think, mildly concerning that North Dakota State was able to get to Sanders so often. I felt like 2 of those throws to Horn in the first half and 1 throw in the second half, he took some big shots on. I'm not sure, don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't think North Dakota State has the quality of defensive line, defensive ends that you're going to face in the Big 12. So, but look, in these cases tonight, Sanders was able to get the throws off. to those wide open receivers. 4 catches, Horn, 4 catches, 134 in the first half, 69-yard touchdown late in the first quarter to put them up 14-10. At that point, you're kind of like, okay, all is right here from a Colorado's perspective. Travis Hunter played every snap on offense and defense, which was at halftime I was just amazed by. And Colorado had no success running the football at all in the first half. I think they finished 23 carries for maybe 69 yards, maybe 59 yards, something like that. Like 2.8 per carry. And at the half, North Dakota State had run 40 offensive plays. The possession I want to go over first for North Dakota State has a unique offense. It's billed as a unique offense. I thought they were very multiple, however. And I do have a personnel column, the third column from the left for you guys. Down and distance first, yard line, and then personnel. I was probably trying to type too much as far as defensive alignments. I didn't do Colorado's defensive alignments because I thought they were pretty generic, basic 4-2 in the box against 11 personnel. The jet sweep by Lance was out of an unbalanced set. I don't have it marked there or denoted under formation. And they only had to convert the 1 third down, the tight end, into the boundary. It's a really nicely designed play. The receiver ends up picking the tight end's man into the boundary. I didn't think the receiver did a really sneaky job of it, meaning when you set that pick or that screen, what you want to do is you want to make it look like you're not trying to execute it. You don't want to give the refs a reason to call it. I felt like he was close to giving the refs a reason to say, hey, you're not actually running a route. You're not making it look like you're running a route. Ended up being a 10-play, 75-yard drive. Completions over the middle, I thought, were important early for Miller. I thought he had 3 in the first half. The one for 27 yards here to get him down to the 6 was crucial. And again, they take a 10-7 lead on the tight end, on the touchdown pass to the tight end. I think his name is Joe Stoffel. And he looked like a huge key to what they do. On a touchdown run by Miller later on. Get to that possession, sorry. On a touchdown run by Miller often, it's the play all the way at the bottom of the screen. For you guys, 2nd and 5 from the 7-yard line, positive 7 that is. And I have it trips left B. I think it's a dual read play. So I think Stoffel, if I'm saying his name correctly, number 82, he had 3 catches in the first half and the touchdown. 3 catches for like 30 yards, 31 yards. And on this one, I think it's a dual read. So I think he's reading the defensive end the same way that Miller is. And then he loops around or outside of the defensive end, who presumably stepped down to take the back. I've only seen, one replay of it. But Miller ends up keeping it behind Stoffel's block out into the boundary. And, I think it's pretty obvious you got a hold out there on Lance on dealing with Hunter near the goal line. But point is, Miller's going to score, or if he's not going to score, he's going to be right at the goal line, and then I guess they'll call the hold from the goal line. So you'll probably be talking about 1st and goal from the 10 or something like that. This was an impressive drive. They went ahead 17-14, had already scored twice, 1 field goal and 1 touchdown on Colorado's defense. And I thought this was where you started to see a little bit of fatigue set in for Colorado's defensive line. Converted 2 different third downs here. One of them, you got a 3rd and 8. It's the 4th play from the bottom for you guys, 3rd and 8. You have a completion to incomplete pass to 82, Stoffel, going across the middle against man defense. But you've got an offsides on 50. I think Hayes, the defensive end to the defense's right, offense's left, gave them a 3rd and 2. And then coming out of that 3rd and 2, Payton completes it to number 3, I think who's a wide receiver that was lined up in the backfield at the time, for 16 yards up the right sideline. So a little bit of a lack of identification by Colorado. But look, North Dakota State's offense, people can call it unique or whatever they want. It was actually very interesting to see them attack into the boundary so much. Very dedicated to attacking into the boundary, particularly out of 11 personnel, which will be away from the nickel defender, something I talk about in a lot of my NFL-oriented videos. So at this point of 17-14, able to get another stop. And, having scored on their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th possessions, going up 17-14 and 20-14 on their 4th possession, like I said, I was a little concerned for Colorado's defense for their ability to stay fresh. And then they're able to go out and get stops in the 3rd quarter. North Dakota State's defense was unable to really accomplish anything other than the somewhat fluky interception when Colorado had made it to inside the 5. They played a 4-1 in the box. Really can't go any lighter than that. You can't play a 4-0. And I think they were kind of almost seeding or inviting the run. for whatever reason, those post or dig routes over the top of the linebacker level, particularly Horn, really gave them trouble. It's fun for me to see a team go 10 personnel, meaning one running back, no tight ends, and 4 receivers. Reminds me of run and shoot stuff. Or somebody in our Discord said Mike Leach in his offense, 4 receivers and just throwing the football a lot. So that was fun to see, and see Sanders make quick decisions. I know he got sacked 52 times last year, and like I explained earlier, North Dakota State put some pressure on him at times tonight. So still some concerns there maybe for the offensive line. But he makes quick decisions when the concept calls for it. I would not say based on tonight that he's a guy who holds onto the football too much, which is something I've heard in the offseason. When the concept calls for him to get rid of the ball quickly, he does so. When the concept is one that has deeper routes attached to it, a dig route, a post, or something like that, then he's generally going to be a guy who gets rid of it quickly, makes quick decisions. I think North Dakota State had an opportunity in the third quarter after that stop to really take control. And they didn't do anything with their 6th possession. They being North Dakota State's 6th possession. It will be their first possession of the third quarter. And then the 7th possession, after I think Colorado goes up 21-20, is the one where I think there's a tactical mistake. Cam Miller played a wonderful game tonight. And I really like Cole Payton, the backup quarterback, number 9. He's like a Tim Tebow light. I think he's like 6'3", 230, something like that. He had 13 rushing touchdowns last year for North Dakota State. He's very tough, extremely talented. He can throw the ball, as seen by one of the throws he executed in the second quarter there. But with how well Cam Miller played, for me, when they do get past midfield, I think they get to like Colorado's 47, second possession of the third quarter. At this point, I think they're down 21-20, I believe. I think you have to keep Miller in the game there. Payton's a talented runner. So if you're going to give him the ball on a 2nd and 2, I want a downhill run play that doesn't lose a yard. As it stands, they ran like a little RPO/hide concept with a receiver, lost the yard, created a 3rd and 3. And then the ensuing play, Payton's still in the game on 3rd and 3. They run QB power out of empty. QB draw out of empty. Very unfortunate for North Dakota State in that they end up getting a delay of game call because it was open. Payton is literally running free in the middle of the field. I know Colorado had, quote, stopped playing because of the whistle, but it was still there. He's a talented dude. He's not going to get tackled. He was at the line to gain when no one is near him. So that they apparently ran out of time on the play clock. So I think that's a tactical error in some ways for them to get the delay of game. And then I think it's an error of choice by the coach to put Payton in when they were rolling. They were past midfield, in my opinion. I think Payton will continue to make plays in 2024 for them, but I'm not saying he shouldn't play at all. But at that point, Miller, I'll use a basketball comparison because that's what I often do. For Miller, I feel like he was a guard he was hitting jumpers. He was getting open for layups, maybe on a pick and roll, whatever. He was finding open teammates for easy shots as well. The comparison there will be he's a quarterback throwing the ball. Keep him on the field. Keep him on the field when I guess actually they were behind 24-20, not 21-20. Keep him on the field. I think that was a tactical error. Not getting any points for 3 possessions in a row ended up dooming North Dakota State's chances for an upset, even though they got the ball back. Colorado's offense just took over. 6th, 7th, 8th possessions. They go for 222 yards on 29 plays. I think you're talking about almost 8 yards per play. 7.4, 7.5, something like that. So 29 plays, 222 yards. Very easily could have been 3 touchdowns in the second half, 6th, 7th, and 8th possession. I thought there was a time period in the second quarter where North Dakota State had trouble tackling in open space. That's what the spread offense with 4 receivers is designed to do. Get athletes in space, make it difficult for your safeties, linebackers to tackle. They really had difficulty with the fast motion from one side of the field to the other. Guys ended up open in the flats often. I'm not exactly sure. There's different coverage calls on every snap, but left points on the board. North Dakota State left an opportunity to get points on the board in the third quarter with that 7th possession. If you wanted to be really picky, the possession late in the second quarter, if you wanted to dissect it and say, hey, look, Colorado gets the ball to open the third quarter. We're in the lead here. We being North Dakota State, we're in the lead here, 20-17. And I know there's not much time left when they get the football there, but check it real quick. When they got the football at the end of the second quarter, It's 2:41 left in the second quarter. You end up with a 4th and 1, and they punt it with inside of a minute left, and Colorado goes down and gets a field goal to get within 2017. In my opinion, if you wanted to be very picky, you would say at that moment we need points. Now you're up 20-14. I'm not saying that you have to go for it 4th and 1 from your own 40, because then you're giving Colorado a chance to double up, meaning Colorado could score in the last minute and then score again to open the third quarter. Well, they damn near did that anyway. They got a field goal to end the second quarter and then an interception. So it worked out for North Dakota State in terms of total points allowed on those 2 possessions. Bill Belichick, I think, used to call it doubling up. Last possession of the second quarter, first possession of the third quarter. If you want to be really picky, you could say North Dakota State, sometime in that time frame, you should try to score. And maybe they were capped in terms of trying to get plays down the field. But I'm not saying that you have to do that. And then the 3rd and 3 quarterback draw with Peyton in the third quarter, I think 7th possession, like I talked about. Getting a delay of game is difficult to fathom, because you come back later on and Miller scores on a 20-yarder with 2:19 left to cut that 31-20 deficit to 31-26. He played amazing. Just a brilliant performance. Miller, I think, was 15 of 17, 15 of 18 passing overall. It's on the stats, so I'll let them flow through here in a moment. 15 of well, I got him 18 for 22 there, I guess, so forgive me for that. And then he also ran for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. An unbelievable game. Look, I have to reflect on this too. I know a little bit about North Dakota State, their season from last year and this year. I watched a significant amount of film in the offseason because I wanted to do something on this game, this reaction video. And I have to reflect that if they had a guy like Eli Green, this game could have had a different flavor, because they would have actually had an athlete who could score there at the end of the second quarter. That possession where I'm saying, once again, if someone wanted to be really picky and dissect it and say you had an opportunity, 3 possessions in a row there, 1 to finish the second quarter, and then 2 possessions in the third quarter, you finally get a touchdown on the board in the fourth quarter. I'm quite sure that North Dakota State fans are proud of the way their team played, but I think they probably feel like they left an opportunity out there to get a win and really shock the college football world. Colorado was fun to watch. I know their defense didn't play as well, but for me, personally, to watch a 10-personnel team is going to be fun throughout the course of the season, because very few people do that. You see so much 11 personnel, and a lot of plays and concepts look the same. Don't get me wrong, there was some similarity there with Colorado's offense as well, but to see 4 receivers on the field and them relying on Shedeur Sanders' decision-making, and in some cases his athleticism, as well as just the brilliance and star play of Travis Hunter, was a heck of a lot of fun to watch. You guys will have to let me know what you think of my reaction video. I usually do these for NFL teams, the Ravens and the Lions. I'm going to try to pick one college football game a week to maybe do this for on a Thursday night or a Saturday, if there's no NFL game on a Thursday night, that is. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. Pick it apart if you want. If you think there's something I could do better, I certainly will. I'm not able to provide defensive stats yet. There's nobody that I could find defensive stats for. That's why when I let the stats flow through, all you saw was offense, because that's all that was available to me. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Colorado or North Dakota State fans would appreciate this reaction video, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach. Appreciate you guys' time.